Alright, these are the couple of planes that I'm going to be looking at how to restore to good condition. This little one here, I can see it's missing a front knob. I don't know why a little hand plane like this would even need one, but I'll probably see about making a new knob. Say it looked like it was in really good condition. I believe the paint is originally on there from the manufacturer. And of course back here you can see that beautiful Made in USA. They don't make things the way they used to. And this one here still has a sticker on it. It says Corsair. I believe this was probably made in the late 50s, early 60s, because it's some of that early plastic. It's got another name to it. I know sometimes they're known to be brittle or whatnot, but frequently they're hard and durable. I thought it was in really good shape. This one here I paid $6 for. That one there I paid $3. It's got a little rust and where it's set out in some weather. Everything's free and moves around with just a little bit of manipulation. I'm going to see about cleaning these up and making them work for me again. Alright guys, since I bought those planes, I managed to go out and do a little more research and seen other people's way of restoring the planes, and I looked into which way I was going to do this. One, I apologize, I had gotten footage of me doing this, but this particular step I have lost my footage. I went out and I bought a gallon of this Everrust. I was at the woodworking show. There was a gentleman there who was talking about restoring old equipment. He says this stuff was great, so I was following his advice there and bought this gallon, and I've taken my 2-block planes and one, I think it's a number 4 Stanley, actually no correction, it's a Corsair that's roughly on a number 4 Stanley design, and I've taken a dollar store tote, took my planes apart, covered it in the EverPro rust, let it sit, and honestly I didn't have to let it sit more than 24 hours. Granted, it took me a week before I got back to this project. It did give me a little bit of a blued finish to the bottom and sides of my irons, and then I proceeded to do the following. Okay, what I got here is an old Stanley number 220 that a buddy of mine gave me, and whenever he first gave it to me it was really rusted up. I put it in some rust removal, and I'll have to share that with you a little later. I don't have it sitting here. What I've got now is a piece of marble tile with a piece of 400 grit sandpaper held with a couple of spring clamps. I'm going to give it a little bit of a coat of water there. Looks pretty good there. Flip my sandpaper around. It loads up pretty fast. This for some other finishing and whatnot months back. And as far as 1000 grit loading up, you could see it really fast on the 400 because it was the beige paper. This here I can feel. I think it's a little bit better silicone paper than the other 400 I was using because it's not loading up as fast. Oh, it's starting to slide now. Really nice. I feel that getting a nice polished edge to it. Feels much better than when it first came into my possession. I've already sharpened my irons on this and my other little block plane that I'd started this restoration project on, and had them tuned to be able to work on patching a floor in my mom's dining room. And we tore out a wall, and where they had hardware floor in the dining room, we picked up some oak flooring from one of the Habitat warehouses, and for $10 we were able to patch the floor to close, but enough for at least a poor folks dining room. I'll see about sharing a photo of that patch job and say, I'm not much of a finished carpenter. I like doing the different wood turnings and bottle stoppers, but most of the time, growing up, I was in more of the framing aspect of the jobs because my dad was doing odd remodeling projects, and by the time he got into the finishing work, I had already moved out of the house. So my little brother's more of a finisher than I am. So the working on these planes is a little bit new to me because there's not much of a call for more than a hammer, a chalk line, and a saw in framing. And of course, my profession is I'm a pressman. I don't know, there's something satisfying about having somebody who's giving you something that was old, beat up, and they just thought it was going to be junk, and we're going to throw it out, and I'm going to turn around and be able to use this. I'll probably return to this project again a little later and do some more work, because I've got a little place here where I can still see some rough spots, and I would like that polished a little better. But I'm thinking for no more than I use a block plane, I'm going to throw a little bit of this Camilla oil on there, reassemble this plane, and put it into my occasional use pile. That's all right, guys. Here's my 2 block planes. They're not a perfect restoration, but you know what? They're going to work for. I still need to make a knob for this one here, and I do believe we're going to see about replacing this cap, and say it was already broke, but that's one of those things. They are ready to be used again. I will probably get a little more practice and do a second video on restoring block planes. I hope you found this educational, and thank you for joining me on Poor Man's Way.